The survey ship drifted silently above Earth's shattered surface. Minu stood at the viewing window, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence as he observed the dead world below. 30 years had passed since the Galactic Concord had unleashed their weapons against the humans. What was once a vibrant blue planet now appeared gray and lifeless. "Final scans complete," said Bomi, his junior officer. "No change from last cycle's readings. Radiation levels remain consistent with extinction parameters." Minu nodded, mandibles clicking in satisfaction. As head researcher for the Concord's containment division, these routine checks were merely formality. No one seriously expected to find survivors. The attack had been thorough, designed not just to eliminate human civilization but to render Earth uninhabitable for centuries. "Prepare the report," Minu ordered. "Standard format. Human extinction status. Confirmed." As Bomi moved to comply, the ship's 3rd occupant spoke up. "Request permission to conduct surface analysis," said Sumi, her voice soft but determined. As the expedition's xenoarchaeologist, she had spent years studying human artifacts recovered before the purge. Minu's upper eyes narrowed. "Denied. Surface contamination remains at unsafe levels." "With respect, sir," Sumi persisted, "our long-range scans show radiation inconsistencies in Sector 7. The pattern appears artificial." "Impossible," Minu dismissed. "No life could survive our cleansing protocol." "Then there's no harm in verifying," Sumi countered, sliding a datapad forward. "One brief collection mission. The anomaly could be important." Reluctantly, Minu approved a short expedition. Hours later, Sumi descended in a protective pod to Earth's surface. She landed near the ruins of what had once been called London, now just crumbling concrete and twisted metal reclaimed by mutated vegetation. Stepping carefully in her containment suit, Sumi activated her scanner. The readings confirmed her suspicions. The radiation didn't flow naturally. In some areas, levels were artificially higher, as if deliberately maintained. In others, strange dead zones existed where radiation should have been strongest. "Someone is manipulating the radiation field," she whispered to herself, "creating a false pattern." Moving deeper into the ruins, Sumi noticed other oddities. Some destruction seemed staged. Buildings collapsed in ways that defied physics. And in the dust, barely visible until she knelt to examine it, a footprint. Recent. Human-shaped. Her hearts raced. This contradicted everything the Concorde believed. Humans were considered extinct, their unpredictable nature and dangerous potential eliminated from the galaxy. The war had been quick and decisive, the Concorde striking preemptively before humans could spread further into space. Sumi followed the faint signs until she reached what appeared to be a collapsed subway entrance. But something caught her eye, the way the rubble was positioned. She moved closer, pushing against a particular slab of concrete. It shifted with surprising ease, revealing a small opening. Cool air flowed from below. Artificial air. Before she could investigate further, her communicator crackled. "Return immediately," Minu ordered sharply. "Anomalous energy readings detected in orbit. Potential system malfunction." Reluctantly, Sumi marked the location and returned to the ship. As their vessel prepared to leave Earth's orbit, she gazed out the viewport one last time. For just a moment, she thought she saw lights flickering in the clouds, like engines igniting. But when she blinked, there was only darkness. Back on the ship, Minu was reviewing system diagnostics. "Sensors detected energy spikes consistent with engine signatures," he explained. But nothing appeared on visual scans. "Perhaps we should report this to Central Command," Sumi suggested carefully. "And tell them what? That our equipment malfunctioned near a dead world?" Minu scoffed. "The humans are gone, researcher Sumi. Accept the facts." Later, alone in her quarters, Sumi examined the soil samples she had secretly collected. Under microscopic analysis, she found trace elements of artificial materials, recent manufacture, and embedded in one sample, too small to be noticed during collection, a tiny metal object. A microchip, with an engraving in human writing. She translated the text with her database. It read simply, Phoenix Program. As the survey ship jumped to light speed, leaving the quarantined solar system behind, Sumi stared at her discovery. The chips were new, not remnants from before the attack. Somewhere beneath Earth's devastated surface, humans weren't just surviving. They were building something, and the galaxy had no idea what was coming. 1 kilometer beneath Earth's surface, Commander Hana removed her helmet as the massive airlock doors sealed behind her. The air in New Seoul carried the familiar recycled scent, clean but never quite natural. After 12 hours on the surface maintenance team, maintaining the radiation emitters that kept their existence hidden, she was glad to be home. "Welcome back, Commander," said the security officer, offering a crisp salute. "Director Kwan requests your presence in Central Command immediately." Hana nodded, her face serious. She walked through the wide tunnel, its walls covered with plants growing under artificial sunlight. Children played in a nearby park area, their laughter echoing against the stone walls. None of them had ever seen the real sky. New Seoul housed over 200,000 humans in its vast underground chambers. It was one of 12 hidden cities built in the final months before the alien attack. While the Galactic Concord believed they had wiped out humanity, millions had survived in these shelters, passing down stories of Earth's blue skies and the promise of return. Hana entered Central Command, a massive chamber carved from bedrock. Hundreds of technicians monitored systems that kept their civilization alive: air filtration, food production, and most importantly, the fleet. "Status report?" she asked, approaching Director Kwan, who stood before the main display. "Phoenix Program has entered final phase," Kwan replied, his voice low despite the soundproofed room. "The last warships are ready. 30 years of preparation, and now we wait only for your order." The large screen showed Earth's other underground cities: New Nairobi, New Sydney, New Moscow, all reporting the same: ready. On a secondary display, hidden shipyards beneath the lunar surface showed the fruits of humanity's secret labor, warships unlike anything Earth had built before. "And the surface sensors?" Hana asked. "They detected a conquered survey ship yesterday. They sent down one researcher, but our teams kept hidden. The aliens still believe we're extinct." Hana smiled grimly. "Their mistake." The director led her to a private room where a holographic display showed their greatest achievement: the Vengeance Fleet. 300 warships built in secret, incorporating technology reverse-engineered from salvaged alien craft and human innovations born of desperate necessity. "Testing of the new shield technology?" Hana asked. "Complete. Their weapons pass right through alien shields, but ours block everything they have." Kwan's eyes shone with pride. "We've had 30 years to study their technology while they ignored us as a dead species." A young officer interrupted with a datapad. "Commander, our deep space arrays have detected movement. The conquered mining fleet near Mars has doubled in size." Hana frowned. "They're expanding operations in our system?" "Yes, ma'am. At current rates, their scanners will detect our lunar base within 3 months." The room fell silent. Their timetable was dissolving. "Then we move now," Hana decided. "Begin Phase 1 of Operation Phoenix immediately." Alarms sounded throughout the underground city. Not in panic, but as the signal thousands had waited decades to hear. Families embraced as soldiers, and pilots reported to battle stations. This day had been the focus of their entire civilization since the attack. Deep beneath the lunar surface, massive doors began to open. The first warships of humanity's Vengeance Fleet powered up, their engines glowing in the darkness of hidden hangars. In her private quarters, Hana opened a small box containing her most precious possession, a photograph of Earth taken from space before the attack, showing blue oceans and white clouds. Next to it was a piece of metal, a fragment from the first alien bomb to strike her hometown. She placed the photo in her uniform pocket and headed to the shuttle bay. Her place was on the command ship, the Phoenix itself, which would lead humanity's return. "Captain Jin reports all systems ready," said her aide as they walked. "First wave can launch within the hour." "Tell him to proceed," Hana ordered, "and activate the communication jammers. The Concord shouldn't know we're coming until they see our ships. As her shuttle prepared to leave for the lunar base, Hana looked at the massive screen showing the underground city. 3 generations had lived and died maintaining the lie of humanity's extinction, farming underground fields, building ships in secret, training for a war many would not survive. The shuttle launched through a hidden tunnel, emerging briefly on Earth's night side before racing toward the moon. Through its window, Hana saw her planet's scarred surface, still bearing the wounds of the alien attack. But soon, the stars would witness humanity's answer. On the lunar base, thousands of crew members boarded their ships. Captain Jin stood on the Phoenix's bridge watching as his crew took their stations. Communication from Commander Hana, reported his communications officer. Message reads, "Launch. All ships, Operation Phoenix is go." Jin nodded and gave the order that would change the galaxy. Bring engines to full power. Prepare to break lunar orbit. Across the solar system, monitoring stations would soon detect energy signatures where none should exist. The Galactic Concord had spent 30 years believing humans were extinct. They were about to learn how wrong they were. The Deimos mining station hung silently above Mars, its drills extracting rare minerals from the small moon. Supervisor June watched the operation displays with bored eyes. 30 years at this remote post had made the routine tedious. The quarantine sol system was considered a dead zone, important only for its resources, not for life. Production is 5% above quota, reported his assistant, Nari. The new drill is performing well. June nodded without enthusiasm. Another successful day in a forgotten corner of space. The Galactic Concord had little interest in the system beyond its minerals. Earth remained under strict quarantine. Radioactive monument to the human problem that had been solved decades ago. The calm of their routine shattered as alarms suddenly blared across the station. Multiple objects approaching from Earth orbit, Nari announced, her voice rising with confusion. Configuration unknown. Impossible, June snapped. Nothing survives on Earth. Check the sensors. Sensors confirmed. 23 vessels approaching. At high speed. They're not responding to identification requests. The main screen activated without command. A face appeared. A human face. June felt his blood freeze. The species had been declared extinct 30 years ago. This is Captain Taiho of the Earth Defense Fleet, the human said calmly. Your mining operation is now under our control. Do not attempt resistance. Before June could respond, the station shuddered as docking clamps engaged on multiple levels. Through the viewing ports, he saw sleek black ships attached to their hull, vessels unlike any Concorde design. Armed humans in sealed suits breached the airlocks. Within minutes, the entire station was secured without a single shot fired. The miners, mostly technicians and scientists, offered no resistance against the disciplined human forces. Captain Taiho entered the control room, removing his helmet. His eyes scanned the alien faces with cold efficiency. Which of you is in charge? June stepped forward on trembling legs. I am Supervisor June. How is this possible? Humans were eliminated. That's what you were meant to believe, Taiho replied. We've been watching you drill our system's resources for decades. Today that ends. Hours later, a Concord science vessel arrived in response to the station's automated distress call. Aboard was senior researcher Sumi, summoned from across the galaxy for her expertise on human civilization. The ship approached cautiously, sensors detecting the unknown vessels docked at the mining station. Those ships matched no known design, the captain muttered. Where did they come from? Sumi remained silent, remembering the chip she had found on Earth's surface months ago. Phoenix program. Now she understood. Their ship received transmission clearance and docked with the station. When the airlock opened, Sumi found herself face to face with living humans, not extinct relics but an advanced, organized military force. The researcher has arrived, announced a human soldier, leading her deeper into the station. In the main conference room, Captain Taiho waited with Supervisor June, who appeared unharmed but shaken. The human captain studied Sumi with interest. You're the one who visited Earth 3 months ago, he stated. You found one of our marker chips. Sumi's 4 eyes widened in surprise. You were watching me? We watch everything in our system, Tejo replied. Your curiosity about our extinction brought you here faster than we anticipated. Sumi looked around at the human soldiers. Their equipment was advanced, beyond what humans had possessed before the purge. How did you survive? The attack was thorough. We were prepared, Tejo explained. Underground cities, lunar bases. While your Concord celebrated our demise, we rebuilt, learned, and planned. A large display activated, showing live feeds from Earth orbit. Where empty space had been monitored for decades, hundreds of warships now decloaked, sleek vessels with technology that shouldn't exist. This is only our forward fleet, Tejo continued. The main force is already moving to reclaim our colonies. June gasped at the images. The conquered must be warned. They already know, Tejo said. Your communication networks have been compromised for years. Even now our message plays across every conquered world. The screen changed to show a different human, an older female commander standing on what appeared to be a massive warship bridge. I'm Commander Hana of Earth, the recording stated. For 30 years you believed us extinct. You were wrong. We are returning to reclaim what is ours. Any resistance will be met with force. Any cooperation will be remembered when accounts are settled. Sumi felt a chill at the calm certainty in the human's voice. What do you want from me? She asked. Understanding, Tejo replied. You showed interest in our culture beyond threat. Assessment. We need interpreters who can explain us to your people and explain your people to us. You don't seek extinction? Sumi asked cautiously. If we wanted that, you would never have seen our ships until it was too late, Tejo stated. We want justice, not genocide. Unlike the Concorde, we understand the difference. Outside the viewport, more human ships emerged from cloak, their running lights illuminating the darkness around Mars. After 3 decades of silence, humanity had returned to the stars, and the galaxy would never be the same. Admiral Genu stood on the bridge of the EDF Phoenix, watching the battle unfold on the main display. The conquered defense fleet above New Terra scattered as human ships emerged from hyperspace. What had once been a thriving human colony was now an alien mining world. That was about to change. Enemy vessels attempting to form defensive position, reported Tactical Officer Yoon. Her fingers danced across the control panel. Their weapons are powering up. Deploy countermeasures, Genu ordered calmly. Disable their command ships first. The Phoenix's advanced targeting systems locked onto the largest conquered vessels. Missiles launched. Not the crude weapons humanity had possessed 30 years ago, but gravimetric warheads that ignored shield frequencies and disrupted drive systems without destroying the ships. First wave successful, Yoon announced. Enemy, command ships disabled. Their fleet is losing coordination. Genu nodded in satisfaction. The Conquered had always relied on centralized command structures, a weakness humanity had studied during their long isolation. While the aliens believed humans extinct, Earth's hidden intelligence networks had gathered every scrap of information about their enemy. Launch the second wave, he ordered, and prepare landing forces. On the planet below, Conquered administrators watched in horror as their orbital defenses fell in less than an hour. Reports flooded in from across the system. Human ships had seized every outpost, every station. The carefully constructed colonial government was collapsing. The main communications array activated, displaying Admiral Genu's face to the colony's leadership. This world was once called New Terra, he stated. It was home to 3 million humans before your attack. We have returned to reclaim it. Your forces have 1 hour to surrender. After that, we will consider all armed personnel hostile. Across the galaxy, similar scenes played out as humanity's hidden fleet emerged at former colony worlds. Operation Phoenix had entered its most critical phase, the systematic reclamation of human space. In the Conquered Assembly Hall, chaos reigned. Emergency sessions had been called as reports of human attacks flooded in from across the border regions. 7. Systems lost in 2 weeks, shouted Representative Dury, slamming his appendage on the speaking podium. Our defenses are failing everywhere. High Commander Sunho, leader of the Concord Military Council, stood rigid with disbelief. This is impossible. The human extinction was confirmed. Their technology should not be this advanced. Clearly, hissed another representative, your confirmation was flawed. The debate ended abruptly when every screen in the assembly hall activated simultaneously, overriding security protocols. Admiral Jinu's face appeared before the gathered representatives. Your forces have been defeated at New Terra, Proxima Centauri, and 5 other systems formerly under human control, he announced without emotion. We have reclaimed what was ours. Your fleets have 2 options: withdraw from former human space or be defeated. As if to emphasize his point, the broadcast showed conquered defensive platforms around the assembly world suddenly powering down, disabled by human stealth ships that had infiltrated the system undetected. Back on the Phoenix, Admiral Jinu watched as New Terra's surface came into view. Landing ships descended toward the main colony centers. After 30 years, humans would walk this world again. Message from Commander Hana, reported Communications Officer Day. The lunar shipyards have completed the second wave of vessels. They await your command for deployment. Jinu smiled slightly. Tell them to proceed to Phase 3 targets. The Concord needs to understand we are not just reclaiming our worlds, we are eliminating their ability to threaten us again. On the planet's surface, Captain Ryu led the first landing force into the former human settlement now occupied by conquered officials. The aliens surrendered without resistance, stunned by how quickly their defenses had fallen. Among them was a senior administrator, who approached Ryu cautiously. We were told humans were aggressive and unpredictable, the alien said. Is this why your species was targeted for extinction? Ryu studied the alien with cold eyes. We were targeted because we were different, because we couldn't be controlled or predicted. Your leaders feared what they didn't understand. And now you've returned for revenge, the administrator said, mandibles clicking nervously. No, Ryu corrected. If revenge was our goal, none of you would be alive to have this conversation. We've returned for justice. As human forces secured the planet, researcher Sumi stood on an observation deck alongside Admiral Jinu. Below them, former conquered officials were being processed, catalogued and contained, but treated with the humane care that had been denied to humans 30 years ago. Your technology is beyond what we thought possible, Sumi observed. How did you advance so quickly? Necessity, Jinu replied. When your entire species faces extinction, innovation accelerates. Every resource, every mind focused on one goal: survival. In the distance, the Phoenix's sister ships hung in orbit, their running lights visible against the darkening sky. After decades of hiding, humanity's warships now lit up the stars, visible proof that the species once thought dead had returned stronger than ever. And the conquered was beginning to understand the true cost of their mistake. The Concord capital, world of Harmonia, had never seen warships in its skies. For 5,000 years it had been the center of galactic civilization, protected by distance and reputation. Now 12 human vessels hung in orbit, silent sentinels that no defense system could disable. In the Grand Assembly Chamber, silence fell as the human delegation entered. Commander Hana walked with calm confidence, her uniform bearing no weapons, but radiating authority. Behind her came Admiral Jinu and Captain Taiho, their faces showing neither hatred nor fear, only determination. Across the negotiation table sat the Concord High Council, 7 representatives from the founding species. Many had voted for humanity's extinction 30 years ago. Now they faced the consequences of that decision. Researcher Sumi stood between the groups as translator and mediator. Her position was unique, one of the few aliens who had shown interest in understanding humans beyond threat assessments. The delegation from Earth is recognized, announced the council speaker, voice amplifiers making his trembling voice steady. State your terms. Commander Hana placed a small device on the table. It projected a 3-dimensional map of the galaxy, with former human territories highlighted in blue. These worlds were ours, she stated simply. They will be ours again. This is not negotiable. The council speaker's appendages twitched nervously. The territories have been developed by conquered interests for 3 decades. Billions of citizens now inhabit those worlds. They will not be harmed if they do not resist, Hana replied. Unlike you, we do not practice extinction. One council member leaned forward, eyes blinking rapidly. Your ships have disabled our defenses across 17 systems. Your technology should not exist. The human development curve could not have advanced so rapidly. Admiral Genu smiled thinly. You assumed we were primitive because we had not spread far from our homeworld. You never understood that our apparent slowness was caution, not limitation. When forced underground, we focused every resource on advancement. Captain Taiho activated another projection, showing the disabled but intact conquered defense platforms throughout their territory. We could have destroyed these. We chose not to. Remember that. The negotiations continued for hours. The conquered representatives gradually realized the humans were not seeking vengeance, but justice. Their terms were firm, but not destructive. All former human territories returned, reparations for the attempted genocide, and integration into the galactic community as equal partners, not as subjects to be controlled. During a recess, Sumi found Commander Hana alone, looking out over Harmonia's crystalline spires. Your restraint surprises them, Sumi said quietly. They expected annihilation. Hana's eyes remained on the alien city. That was always the difference between us. They saw our unpredictability as a threat. They never considered it might be our strength. What happens now? Sumi asked. Now we rebuild. Not just our colonies, but trust. It will take generations. When the session resumed, the final agreement was presented. The Concord would acknowledge humanity's sovereign rights to their former territories. Joint colonial arrangements would be established where populations had mixed. A truth commission would document the attempted genocide for historical record. Most significantly, humans would take seats on the Concord Council, their unique perspective now recognized as valuable rather than dangerous. As the agreement was formalized, an elderly council member approached Hana privately. I voted against the extinction order, he said, voice low. I argued that diversity strengthened us all. Few listened then. They're listening now, Hana replied. Later, aboard the Phoenix, Earth's leadership gathered to witness the signing ceremony via secure transmission. Billions watched from underground cities and reclaimed colonies as humanity officially rejoined the galactic community, not as supplicants, but as equals who had proven their resilience. Some wanted us to destroy them completely, Admiral Genu said quietly as they watched the Concord representatives sign the document, to do to them what they tried to do to us. That was never our purpose, Hana replied. Extinction solves nothing. Understanding changes everything. 6 months later, Sumi stood in Earth's orbit aboard a diplomatic vessel. Below her, the first atmospheric processors had begun clearing radiation from limited areas. Small settlements appeared on the surface, the first in 30 years. Humans were reclaiming their homeworld step by careful step. Beside her stood Captain Taiho, now serving as Earth's ambassador to the Concord. Your people are rebuilding quickly, Sumi observed. We've had practice, Taiho replied. 3 generations, living underground looking at pictures of blue skies and open water. Now the children of New Sol will feel real sunlight. As night fell across Earth's surface, lights appeared below, new settlements glowing against the darkness. Above, Earth's defense fleet patrolled openly, their running lights visible as they crossed the stars. The ships once hidden now protected a world reborn. The species once thought extinct had returned to claim their place among the stars. And the galaxy had learned a crucial lesson about humanity's greatest strength. Not their technology or their tactics, but their unyielding determination to survive. Her quarters, Commander Hana placed the photograph of pre-war Earth back in its case. Beside it, she laid the metal fragment from the first alien bomb, not as a reminder of hatred, but as a testament to what they had overcome. Outside her viewport, Earth's lights shone against the darkness. The home they had pretended to lose was finally theirs again.